Hi, thank you for tuning in to Elevar's webinar today. Send the signal every platform once. No more than just what happened, but the who behind those purchase events. My name is Kaylee Larkin, and I'm joined here by Hal Smith, the founder of HStreet Digital. Hal, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Kaylee. Yeah, my name's Hal. I am I guess, longtime performance media buyer turned agency owner. I've been doing performance media buying for, I guess, now 11 years, and in pretty much every context you can imagine. So I've done Fortune 50 companies. I've launched e-commerce stores. I've worked in political advertising for fundraising, and I've also done stuff on the B2B side. So I've kind of touched every single potential type client you could be working with, and then I decided to start HStreet, which is my agency, and we're specifically focused on direct-to-consumer e-commerce, Shopify stores, and we work with a lot of brands that are generally doing about 10 million or more in Shopify revenue, and we're focused on scaling up their new customer acquisition programs through paid digital advertising with a focus on what we call our key performance levers. So the offer strategy, creative, media buying, landing page CRO, and then reporting and attribution. So thank you.
I am awesome. Thanks so much. So today's webinar, we're going to be digging into one of the most important signals that you can be sending as we're moving into BFCM is new customer, being able to segment out between new customer and returning customers. So today, just high level, we're going to be talking about, what is it? What is a new customer event? Why does that matter? How does that work from the Elevar side? And then I'll talk really high level, some different use cases or ways that we're seeing customers win with this data strategy. And then I'll pass it over to Hal to talk about, from his experience in the brands that he's working with, a more in-depth case study. Let's see if these slides will work with me today. Awesome. So what is a new customer event? At Elevar, we help brands track not just what happened, but who it happened with. And the new customer purchase event, as I was saying, is one of the most important signals that we can be sending right now as we're heading into Q4, because it tells platforms when a purchase came from, someone who's never bought from your store before. And this allows your, performance marketing, this allows your strategy to go beyond just basic conversions, but it's able to send data to your platform and provide them visibility into actual net new acquisition. So then when you're looking at your reports, you're not just looking at blended performance across new and returning, you're actually able to see which campaigns, which creative, etc., is bringing in net new customers. And then your platforms can optimize for those net new customers. So when we're looking at purchase events, your general conversion event is sent for all buyers. It's standard optimization. And the one down here on the bottom is supposed to just say kind of, like basic LTV. You're getting this blended data performance, where if you're sending your new customer purchase event, you're sending that for first-time buyers only. That helps your ad platforms optimize for net new customers. And then your LTV and your reporting is a lot more accurate. You're not getting that blended performance. So let's talk about how this works technically, like what's going on behind the scenes. Elevar uses a lot of data points. This is what we're known for. We use customer history, offline data. We pair that with session level and cookie-based data through server side to provide high confidence signals that aren't dependent on just one method of ID. So let's say you have the customer is new to the store, and this way we can trigger a separate new customer purchase event that gets sent server side to the platform. Where does this signal go? Well, this signal can go to all of your ad platforms. So this can be sent to Meta, TikTok, Google Ads as a standalone custom event. For others, like GA4 or Snapchat, if you're advertising on Snapchat, CJ affiliate, if you're running affiliate programs, this is then as part of the main purchase event payload. Think of it as like, We're not just tagging conversions, we're giving platforms a way to understand the who behind the conversion. And then let's talk a little bit as to like, why does this change the game? Why does this matter? Why are we talking about it right now as we're heading into, BFCM? So when platforms like Meta, Google Ads, and they know who your customers are, they can actually allocate your spend. They can optimize your ad campaigns to find more of them. This means, better targeting, better creative optimization. You get a cleaner feedback loop to your campaigns, which allows like more informed or better informed budget allocation. That way you're not just spending for, say, like warm leads that you've already warmed up, but you can spend directly to acquiring your new customers. So use cases, I'm going to tee it up here for Helen. Let's say that you sell like multiple product categories and you want to acquire new customers who've never bought from a specific SKU before, even if they've purchased something else like in your retail store. So we can configure, Elevar is able to configure a new customer event that fires only when someone hasn't purchased that specific category before. And this is really, really powerful. If I was going to just kind of summarize why new customer purchase events matter, it's extremely powerful because the segmentation is built in to your data strategy. It's built into your conversion architecture, not your audience settings. You're not messing with audience settings necessarily in these different platforms, but it's built into your data strategy that you automatically send server side to your ad platforms. And what are we seeing? We're seeing there's one customer who reported a jump from 50 to 70% new visitors on prospecting campaigns just by optimizing on this new customer event. We saw another brand. They saw a shift. This one was pretty cool. It was a shift towards reels and short form as far as their creative went, where Meta was finding higher new customer efficiency with reels and short form creative. And we've also seen brands who are having YouTube performance improve after switching to the new customer signal. So to summarize from my end, and then I'll get off my soapbox here, the new customer purchase event gives your platforms a clean server-side signal about who's new. And that means more efficient prospecting, better audience building, and more informed budget allocation. And Hal's going to walk through some real world examples.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. So I think just quickly to kind of to add to what you said, which I think is really important before I jump into this case study of what we did with one of our clients in Elevar, is talking quickly about specifically the meta algorithm and how it works in terms of how it delivers ads. There's Meta employs thousands of machine learning engineers and has spent more than 10 years building something extremely powerful. It's one of the most powerful tools out there today in terms of connecting people to brands, right? And however, with any kind of machine learning based algorithm, it's only as good as the data that you feed it, and then also to the clarity and signal that it acquires, and then it's the feedback loop of basically telling this algorithm if it's doing a good job or a bad job. Okay. And so what we really want to do as advertisers is recognize how we can leverage this extremely powerful algorithm and feed it better data that's cleaner and make sure that's we're feeding it that data faster, right? And that's where server-to-server tracking and what Elevar does is really powerful because it's a much faster, cleaner, and higher like information load way of passing data back to these algorithms than what we previously had with browser-based pixels. Okay. Another key thing to highlight here is historically with custom events in Meta, we had no way to distinguish between new customers and existing customers. What we would have to do in the past is basically run campaigns and then exclude all existing customers, which actually negatively impacted the efficiency of these campaigns because it increased our CPMs and made just acquisitions much more expensive. It was also a bad way to basically reward the algorithm, right? Instead, we're just saying, hey, get any purchases, but don't serve ads to these people. It wasn't really positive. It wasn't a good way of setting up a positive feedback loop. And so what we really want to do here is make sure that we're giving a good positive feedback loop that's very specific to new customer events for Meta. And so what we did here is we had a client that prior to implementing Elevar, and they were working with a different agency before us, but they had been spending more on digital advertising, specifically on Meta, and they had seen zero impact to their to revenue. Okay, and there's zero impact in Shopify. They had not seen any difference in overall performance. They had not seen a rise in new customers. They hadn't seen anything except they were spending more and more each month. They, after kind of speaking to them and kind of digging into the root cause here, we realized that, so first of all, it's a high-end skincare brand. We found two important things. One is they had really high subscription rates. So once someone came and made a purchase, they would actually subscribe to the actual product. And then two, even if they didn't subscribe, they had really high repeat customer purchase rates. And so what we found from that was a pretty accurate picture of the lifetime value for each customer. And we had a pretty accurate picture from that what their target customer acquisition cost should be for a new customer. So what we were able to do is set up this custom event with Elevar that basically fed new customer events back to Meta. And then with that, we're able to see within our ad platform, within Meta specifically, like what our new customer acquisition cost was. And we're able to figure out, to what you spoke to earlier, Kaylee, that the campaigns, the audiences, and the creative that actually helped us improve that new customer acquisition cost, as we would see it within Meta itself. It also just gave Meta the ability to self-learn, and this powerful algorithm the ability to understand like who it should be delivering ads to by itself without even having the kind of manual optimizations from us. And so after we had set this and configured the event and run several different rounds of optimizations over a couple of months, we were actually able to drive down that CAC by 55%, well below their target. And then from that, we were actually able to scale up their spend incrementally, almost 100%. Okay, so what that effectively meant to us is we doubled their new customers, their monthly new customers, at a CAC that was actually below their target customer acquisition cost. This was just a huge change for the business entirely. And it was because of this specific customer event that we'd implemented. We knew exactly how to drive new customers. We knew exactly the true cost of acquiring those new customers, and we knew exactly the specific levers that we need to pull, the creative that we need to optimize, the campaigns we needed to spend more or add more budget to that were actually going to help us improve this. So it's incredibly important to be able to separate, all purchases from new customer purchases. As we head into Black Friday, Cyber Monday, this is your biggest opportunity to go out into the wild and get a lot of net new customers into your brand, right? And what we have found here is if you can make sure that you set up your Black Friday, Cyber Monday promotions and offers and campaigns, optimizing towards that new customer event, that's going to create a much more efficient way to capture net new customers and bring them in the door. So this is such a powerful, important thing to get in place before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, because if you can tell Meta, hey, optimize for this event, and you can set up the structure, the creative or whatever it might be, that's Black Friday, Cyber Monday promotions or offers, you're going to be able to go get significantly more customers at a much lower cost at the peak time to go acquire them. So it's such a powerful thing to get in place, and it's really important for any brand to set up campaigns that are structured for acquiring specifically net new customers only, as well as whatever you might be doing to generate more revenue from existing customers. But you need to create those two different ways of acquiring customers. You need to make sure you have good prospecting that's really optimizing for new customers, as well as whatever you're doing to remarket to your existing customers.
All right. Thank you so much, Hal, for joining us today. And thanks to all of you for hanging out with us. We covered a lot. We covered a lot in, like 16 minutes. So to summarize, here's the big takeaway. If you're serious about acquisition, new customer acquisition, your campaigns need to know who's actually new to your brand. And that's what the new customer event is for. You can give platforms like Meta the right optimization targets without guessing. And if you're not already sending this event, now is the perfect time to start. So reach out to our team or check our knowledge docs. We'll help you get it set up and live before peak season ramps up. On behalf of the whole team here at Elevar and HStreet, thank you again, and we'll see you next time.